I experienced physical abuse in Prince Albert. I was thrown from the washroom towards the door by a supervisor, and I got my arm broken in 2 places. And when I was in Gordon School, I was 10 years old. I was sexually abused by one of the school administrators. And other than that, after that, I really had to walk a tight line. Like I was more or less traumatized, I guess, and I was unable to learn whatever it is that they tried to teach me. Well, I think it was at the tail end of capital punishment when you were practicing any kind of, let's say, rituals, if you will, like our prayers, our ceremonies, sweat lodges and whatnot, and even rendering a prayer in Cree, that we were punished severely. Like we got there's a big web belt about like that, I guess. It's supposed to hit you on the hands, but they hit you right up here. Oh, it affected me quite a bit. I could not tell anybody what happened to me, including my dad, including my parents, including anybody. I just kept it within, to a point where I became an alcoholic at a very, very early age. And I drank. I was unable to guarantee my behavior, and I did a couple of rubby bits, they called them, back then, when you go to jail, drunk in a public place and stuff like that. I went into the provincial institution, and it wasn't that much difference from a residential school. As a matter of fact, I kind of felt at home. Through my elders, I went back to the ceremonies. I went back to the lodges. And from there I was told by an elderly lady, not necessarily an Indian lady, it was a Ukrainian lady, that told me that you need to forgive. You need to forgive. Oh my gosh, how the heck can you forgive after living like that for a heck of a long time with that inside you? And he said not to forgive them, but to forgive yourself for allowing yourself to be in where you're at, to try and get out of there and move on to a positive lifestyle. And I held that teaching. As a matter of fact, it sobered me up. A promise from the federal government is just like pouring water into a strainer. You know, it doesn't hold anything. With a promise of education, Indian control of Indian education, I can still see not total control. The fiscal control will be kept at that as much as they can, as much as they will. You know, when I talk about that, I have a daughter. She's in corrections. She's an officer, corrections officer. She works in Edmonton. But she tried to get her degree in social work, and on the 4th year she was told, "We don't have any more funds for you." And now she's working sort of crippled, knowing all that information that. And he said, "That's okay, Dad. With the wages that I get, I'll take night classes and get my degree in social work." That is what she's saying, you know. But on the other hand, when the government says you have Indian control of Indian education, it's just like I don't know how I could describe it, but I get so annoyed when I talk about trying to wrap my head around somebody else's policy when the treaty right to education should be there, should be honored to its fullest, which includes post-secondary without a cap. And I kind of think, how do you expect us to get ahead? How do you expect us to be a part of society if you're going to keep us down?